Hello students, our today's topic is immunology, and this topic is somehow related to our day-to-day life. In this class, we are focusing on immunity as we everyday exposed to various kinds of pathogen. Here, pathogen refers to the substance or agent which when enters to the body cause disease or cause harmful effect of the body. Those pathogens can enter our body and how our body combat with all kinds of pathogen, and this topic comes under the immunology. Before going to the topic, we have to know some terminologies. For example, immunity, immunosystem. Like we all acquainted with the pathogen, pathogens enter the body and our immune system kill them. So the protective or defense system of the body is called immunosystem, and the ability of an organism of an individual to resist the body from pathogen or antigen and also from their toxic substances is known as immunity. So here our new term is antigen. Antigen referred to foreign substances which cause diseases. Now, the study of immunity and their system is known as immunology.
Reside there.
In the field of immunology, many science gives many type of contribution, but Edward Jenner for the first time produces artificial immunity against smallpox. So he is considered as father of immunology. As before going to the vast topic of immunology, we have to know about our immunosystem properly. Immunosystem consists of lymphoid organs, lymphoid tissue, and a network of lymphatic vessels. So the first one is our lymphoid organs, where the lymphocytes mature and proliferate. That organ is known as lymphoid organ. Lymphoid organ is basically classified into two types: primary lymphoid organs and secondary lymphoid organ. The first one is primary lymphoid organ. It is also known as central lymphoid organ. In primary lymphoid organ, the lymphocytes get matured. They also acquire their antigen specific receptor. Now, new term is antigen specific receptor. It means lymphocytes gets their receptor which can recognize the specific or particular antigen to destroy them. The primary lymphoid organ further classified into bone marrow and thymus. The first one is bone marrow. As in our first year class, we already know about the bone marrow. Bone marrow is present in the marrow cavity of long bone, and the capacity or the function of bone marrow to produce many kinds of or all kinds of blood cells, including the lymphocytes. Bone marrow produces B lymphocytes, mean in bone marrow B lymphocytes get matured. Next is our thymus. We also know about the thymus. It is considered as an endocrine gland. In thymus, the T lymphocytes get matured. So basically, in the two places, two kinds of lymphocytes get matured. The origin of lymphocyte is bone marrow. So some lymphocytes reside in bone marrow and get matured. That lymphocytes are known as B lymphocyte. So B stands for bone marrow. And some lymphocytes migrate to thymus for maturation. That lymphocytes are known as T lymphocyte. So T stands for thymus. In case of birds, there is also an primary lymphoid organ, that is bursa of Fabricius, and it is also equivalent to bone marrow. Then the next is our secondary lymphoid organ. Secondary lymphoid organ is also known as peripheral lymphoid organ. After the maturation of B lymphocytes and T lymphocytes, they migrate to the secondary lymphoid organ, and there they store. When the antigens interact with our body, the lymphocytes undergo proliferation and differentiation in the secondary lymphoid organ, and they destroy them and activate other immunoresponses. The secondary lymphoid organs include lymph node, spleen, tonsil, Peyer's patches of intestine, appendix, and mucosal associated lymphoid tissue or MALT. Now the first one is spleen. Spleen is the largest lymphoid organ, and the location of spleen is it is present just below the diaphragm to the left side of abdominal cavity. The shape of spleen is bean shape. Spleen contains lymphocytes, phagocytes, and large number of erythrocytes. As we know that spleen is considered as graveyard of RBC because the worn out and damaged RBC are destroyed there. And spleen is also known as reservoir or blood bank because it contains lymphocytes, large number of erythrocytes. That's why. Now the function of spleen to filter the blood. The macrophages of spleen remove the microbes which enter into the blood. Then the next one is lymph node. Small solid structure or nodules are present in the lymphoid tissue and which is known as lymph node. The function of lymph node to prevent microbes which enter into the lymph, and also it prevent the microbes to enter into the blood. Now the next one is mucosal associated lymphoid tissue or which is known as MALT. MALT is present in the lining of major tracts like digestive, respiratory and urinogenital tract. Actually, MALT is the inner lining or mucous membrane which contains patches of lymphoid tissue, and MALT consists of 50% of lymphoid tissue in human body. The inner lining of esophagus and intestine means the inner mucosa lining of esophagus and intestine also contains patches of lymphoid tissue, and that is particularly known as gut associated lymphoid tissue. Next one is our tonsil, which is present in our pharynx region. Next is the Peyer's patches, which is present in our small intestine. So it is total about our primary lymphoid organ and secondary lymphoid organ. Next, come to our next section, that is our defense system has two kinds of immunity. First is innate immunity, second is adaptive or acquired immunity. Now come to our innate immunity. Innate immunity refers to the immunity which we get from our parents. So it is known as inborn immunity or genetic immunity. The person has the immunity naturally, so it is also known as natural immunity, and it protects from the body from various kind of infections. That's why it is known as non-specific immunity, because it is not specific for a particular antigen or pathogen. Innate immunity has its own barrier system. Barrier system prevent the entry of pathogen. The first barrier is physical barrier. This barrier doesn't allow the pathogen to enter into our body. The physical barriers include skin, mucous membrane, nasal hairs. First one is our skin. The skin covers our total body, and the outer layer of skin is made up of dead keratinized epithelium. That dead keratinized epithelium is technically termed as stratum corneum. So pathogen cannot pass into the body through skin. Next one is our mucous membrane. Our many internal organ system contains the mucous lining like digestive system, respiratory system or urinogenital system. For example, the mucous lining in stomach protects the stomach from the action of HCl. Like that, the action of mucous membrane is to first trap the pathogen and also prevent the entry of parasite in case of our barrier. Next one is our nasal hairs. As we know that nasal hairs are present in the nasal chamber. They also trap the dust particles carrying the pathogen. So, the total physical barrier is known as first line of defense. Here, the first line of defense represents the disease causing agent first encounter with the first barrier. Next one is our physiological barrier. As the name indicates, there is something present in our body which don't allow the entry of pathogen. So, the pH of body fluid and body temperature also prevent the growth of microorganism or pathogen. Like pH of stomach, which is acidic in nature, kills the microorganism like bacteria present in the food molecules. Like that, tear and saliva has lysozyme. It prevents the entry of foreign molecules. Then some glands like sweat gland secretes sweat, sebaceous gland secretes sebum, ceruminous gland secretes cerumen. All these things also prevents the entry of pathogen into the body. Now one thing is bile also inhibits the growth of microorganism. As we know that bile is secreted from the liver. If the pathogen crosses the first line of defense, then it interacts with the second line of defense. In first line of defense, physical barrier and sometimes physiological barriers also included. Now here the new term is second line of defense. Second line of defense comes under cellular barrier. Cellular barrier deals with some kind of cells and the cells directly attacks the pathogen or antigen. So phagocyte and natural killer cells are included in cellular barrier. The first one is phagocyte. In phagocyte, WBC and macrophages are included. So first come to our WBC, which represent white blood cell or leukocyte. As we know that WBC is further classified into 5 kinds: neutrophil, basophil, eosinophil, monocyte and lymphocyte. All these have contribution towards our immune system. When the infection occurs inside the body, the number of WBC increases. This phenomenon is known as leukocytosis. Neutrophil engulf the pathogen by the process of phagocytosis and monocytes modify into macrophages. Here, new term is phagocytosis. First, phagocytosis was discovered by Machnikov. In phagocytosis, the cell becomes amoeboid shape and engulfs the pathogen by changing its shape. Inside the cell, the pathogens are trapped and it forms phagosome. And the phagosomes are attracted by lysosome present inside the cell. It interacts with the phagosome and form another structure, that is phagolysosome. So lysosome destroys the phagogens and the fragmented pathogen, or lysosome destroys the pathogen and the fragmented pathogens are released from the cell. So this total process is known as phagocytosis. Now our next term is macrophage. Macrophage also comes under our phagocytes. Actually, macrophages are modified monocytes. As we know that monocytes are phagocytic in nature, so macrophages are also phagocytic in nature. Basically, macrophages are classified into two types: fixed macrophages and wandering macrophages. First one is fixed macrophages. They are present in lymphoid organs. If any kind of pathogen enter, then they destroy them. Next one is wandering macrophages. They are present in connective tissue. Both fixed macrophage and wandering macrophage constitute reticuloendothelial system or RES. According to various organs, the name of macrophages also change. Like in liver, it is known as Kupffer cell, but in lung, it is known as pulmonary alveolar macrophage. But in bone, it is known as osteoblast. Now, the next one is NK cell. Here, N represents natural and K represents killer. So, it is known as natural killer cells. The natural killer cell secrete a kind of chemical. That chemical is known as perforin. The function of perforin is to create hole or minute pore in the plasma membrane of target pathogen or antigen. And finally, the pathogen or antigen become porous. Through the pore, fluid substance enters and swelling occurs. Through the pore, fluid enters into the pathogen and finally swelling of the cell occurs and it bursts. The fragmented cells are then taken by phagocytes. Our next barrier is cytokine barrier. First, we have to understand about what is cytokine. It refers to a large group of proteins. They are secreted by specific cells of immune system. They also regulate immunity and form barrier. Especially viral infected cell secrete a glycoprotein called interferon. Interferon protects the non-infected cells from viral infections. Next one is the inflammatory barrier, and which is basically known as inflammation. When an injured region present, that region attracts mast cell of connective tissue and basophil. They release histamine. As we know that histamine is vasodilator. It dilates the blood capillaries. So more blood flow to that area. So it looks red, feel warm and swelling occurs. This reaction of body is known as inflammatory response. Next is the fever. Toxins produced by pathogen or a protein that is called pyrogen produced by macrophage can directly affect the hypothalamus. Pyrogen is also known as interleukin. When pyrogen interacts with the hypothalamus, it raises the temperature by affecting the thermoregulatory center. So, fever occurs. Fever activates the phagocytosis. Our next is complement system. Complement system includes plasma protein. About 30 kind of plasma proteins are present. Their function is to attack and destroy the microbes. They participate in both innate and acquired immunity. And they also cause various kind of functions, like they create pore on the microbe or activate the mast cell or cover the microbes by a layer of coating, and that layer of coating attracts the phagocyte. So here our innate immunity ends. Phagocyte, interferon, inflammatory reaction, fever, natural killer cell, complement system are included in our second line of defense. So basically there are two kind of defense, first line of defense and second line of defense. Thank you. The next part of immunology will be provided in next video.